Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to look at Chapter 3, Section 3.4, and we are getting really close to wrapping up our learning on North America. So today's lesson is going to focus on the conflicts between Texas and Mexico, including the United States. So we're first going to look at the Texas Revolution, and then war with the United States, and then finally the reform of Mexico. That then will continue into the next section. Our main idea for this section is that as a result of the U.S.-Mexican War, Mexico lost some territory to the United States. So when Santa Anna became president of Mexico, the country included land from present-day Texas to California and north to Utah. This territory soon faced a crisis. To encourage new settlers in the area of Texas, Mexico offered land grants to Americans to set up colonies there, and they had begun arriving in 1821. So if you remember at this point, we had, in 1821, we had gained our independence from Britain and had gotten some of the land in Louisiana Purchase, but some of that land wasn't like the best for farming or raising animals and things. And some people wanted like big plots of land. So that was something that they could get from the area available to them in Texas. So the American population grew so quickly that in 1830, Mexico passed a law blocking further settlement. This move began to start a growing hostility between the Mexican government and the settlers in Texas. So in 1835, Texans began to rebel against Mexican forces. So in response, President Santa Anna led a large army to Texas to try to end the rebellion. In 1836, in a battle that lasted about 13 days, Mexican forces killed almost all of the approximately 200 Texan rebels defending a fort called the Alamo. You guys may have heard people say, like, remember the Alamo? This is what they're talking about there. Despite this defeat, Texans continued to fight for independence. So the next month, the Texan army, under the leadership of General Sam Houston, defeated Santa Anna's troops at the Battle of San Jacinto. You may recognize that name, Sam Houston. That is where the city of Houston in Texas was named after that general. So after winning their independence from Mexico, Texans created the Republic of Texas. So for 9 years, they struggled with debt, disputes with Mexico, and violence between settlers and Native Americans. So being an independent Republic of Texas was not successful for them. So seeing as it was not successful, in 1845, Texas joined the United States through something called annexation or adding territory. Texas and the United States claimed that the southern border of Texas, which is now the U.S., was the Rio Grande River, but Mexico said that the border was the Nueces River, which was further north. So as you can imagine, the United States didn't like that Mexico was trying to take some of the land that they thought was theirs, and Mexico didn't like that the U.S. was taking the land that they felt was theirs. So in early 1846, American troops were sent to occupy the disputed area between the two rivers. When Mexican and U.S. troops fought near the Rio Grande River in May of 1846, the United States formally declared war on Mexico. So Santa Anna's troops battled the U.S. Army, but were defeated after 2 years. So as a result, in 1848, Mexico gave up the area from Texas to California. This land became known as the Mexican Secession. In 1853, Santa Anna sold further Mexican land to the United States in what came to be known as the Gadsden Purchase. In Mexico, many people opposed or objected to this decision. So like I said, the people in Mexico did not like the fact that Santa Anna sold so much of that Mexican land to the United States. Mexican people felt like the United States had taken enough from them. And when you look at it, the Gadsden Purchase on this picture really isn't that large of an area, but it does kind of take a chunk out of Mexico that was more land than they wanted to give. Even the area you have to remember, like, this is compounded by the fact that if you look at that first picture on the left, in 1840, that yellow area is all that disputed land. That was the difference between the Nueces and the Rio Grande River that the U.S. and Mexico are fighting over. So Mexico had just lost all of that land because of these disputes, and then Santa Anna sold off that extra chunk of land that really kind of tipped people over the edge and made them really upset. So having said all of that, due to growing opposition to Santa Anna and his policies, Santa Anna was forced out of leadership in 1854. New leaders wanted to change Mexican society. In 1857, President Benito Juarez proposed major reforms or changes to promote social equality. And here comes Louis. You're a good boy. Religious and military leaders refused to accept the reforms proposed by Benito Juarez, and the country entered a long period of civil unrest and violence. Yeah, you're right. They did. Not cool. Louis says, don't fight, guys. Don't fight. Conflicts between those who wanted reform in Mexico and those who did not continued throughout the 1860s. All right, I adjusted my camera so hopefully you guys can see Louis a little bit better. So things to remember from this section: Texas seceded from Mexico after the war ended in 1836. After about 9 years of independence for Texas, the United States did annex Texas in 1845. After this, the war was fought between Mexico and the United States on border disputes, the Nueces and Rio Grande rivers. And then after losing the land, Mexico underwent a reform that lasted through the 1860s. All right, guys, thank you guys for listening. Louis says bye. Yep, there he goes. He says bye. Go ahead, check back and give us what your next job is. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.